So what is up, guys? Brendan Suter back, and we are finally here. The final video of the 2022 NFL season with Super Bowl prop bet predictions. It's a special occasion since it's the last, so that's why I am wearing my suit for this one. Anyways, I have had an absolute blast making these NFL videos throughout the NFL season, but this is it, the grand finale, the prop bet predictions. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to film mine last year. I just had a little bit of trouble with my time management, but I figured it out now, and so we got Super Bowl 57 between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be different from like a typical prediction video because I just find prop bets a lot more fun. But anyways, got many prop bets to get to. So without further ado, let's get this video. All right, so the prop sheet I'll be using, it's going to be from Sports Betting Dime, their Super Bowl 57 prop bet sheet. They have one version for the casual fan and one for the hardcore fan. I'm going to be using both sheets because they both use a handful of the same questions. So starting out with the casual fan, we have question number one, time of Chris Stapleton's national anthem. It's set over under 119.5 seconds. So I think that is the right amount of time, which is 2 minutes, because I've had other prop sheets where they say over under 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, personally, I think he's going to go over, which then goes to the next question. What will the primary color of Chris Stapleton's hat be? Black, other, or none? Now, honestly, I don't know much about Chris Stapleton, but the fair amount of research that I did, he has like one like go-to standard hat. I think he'll wear it, but it's not a black hat, so I'm going to be putting other under that. And then question number three, will any scoring drive take less time than the national anthem? Now, one thing about both teams is that they are extremely explosive on offense. Obviously, with the Philadelphia Eagles, they have game breakers like Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. And then on the Chiefs side, Patrick Mahomes, we all know what happened against the Bills in the divisional round. Only took 13 seconds to drive into field goal range and kick a game-time field goal. So both these teams are extremely explosive. So I'm going to say yes, a scoring drive will take less time than the national anthem. And then number four, we have which quarterback will be shown first during the national anthem, Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts. Now this one, I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes because he's going to win the MVP, and I think they're going to show him first before they show Jalen Hurts. But it's no disrespect to Jalen Hurts because he has had an amazing season considering all the adversity he faced going into his NFL career. Moving on to question number five, we have who will be shown first during the broadcast, either Kevin Hart, Bradley Cooper, or neither. Now, when I think about Bradley Cooper, I think about his performance as a Rocket in both the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And Kevin Hart, he's just been trending upwards for years, so I'm going Kevin Hart on this one. Now, the biggest 50-50 question, outcome of the coin toss, heads or tails? Now, I know everyone's going to be like, oh, tails never fails. Well, guess what? Screw that. I'm going heads. Once again, 50-50 choice, so let's see. Number seven, which team's head coach will be shown first after kickoff, Kansas City or Philadelphia? They're definitely going to show Andy Reid first because, once again, he's the experienced veteran. Like, it's an interesting choice if they would show Nick Sirianni first. It is his second year as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, but they're definitely going to show Andy Reid. Once again, he was the head coach for both the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, so they're definitely going to show him first, as this is the narrative Super Bowl, as it's both teams that Andy Reid coached, and it's the Kelce Bowl between Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce. Anyways, then we move on to which team will score first. I actually have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the coin toss. They're going to elect to defer, and the Philadelphia Eagles, I say they get the first score of the game. And then we move on to what will the first score of the game be, touchdown, field goal, or safety. And in my opinion, I'm going to say on the opening drive, Philadelphia goes in and scores the opening touchdown. I'll get to that a little bit more later. Question number 10, will the game be tied again after 0-0? I'm going to say yes, because once again, these are two of the best teams in the league. Like, the biggest difference is Philadelphia has done a lot better on defense this year. Kansas City's been rather mid on defense, but both their offenses are absolutely electric, so it'll definitely be tied again after the beginning of the game. And then moving on to, will there be a penalty called in the first quarter? Now, one thing I looked into when it came to the officiating crew is that these guys throw flags all the time. So yes, there is going to be a penalty called in the first quarter. Like, if there isn't one, then like both these teams are extremely disciplined, but that's not going to happen. There's going to be a penalty flag thrown in the first quarter. And then we have number 12, over under 2.5 players to attempt a pass. So that includes both quarterbacks. So will someone else possibly toss a pass? I'm going to say yes, because one thing you see with the Kansas City Chiefs, they often love to pull off like the razzle-dazzle plays. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, sure, they're strictly like a ground-first attack, but it wouldn't shock me if maybe they let Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott throw a pass, or even A.J. Brown. And same thing with the Chiefs. They love the razzle-dazzle. So yes, I'm going to say over for 2.5 players to attempt to pass. Question 13, who will be leading at halftime, Kansas City or Philadelphia? They actually don't give you neither option, so I'm going to be going with the Philadelphia Eagles on that one. I'm going to say that it's going to be close, maybe like a 17-14 lead at halftime, and then which quarter will be the highest scoring. I had to do a little bit of research into this, and for the Philadelphia Eagles, the main correlation I saw was the second quarter was always their highest scoring quarter, and it wasn't even close. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, in their games, it was either the fourth quarter or the second quarter. It was pretty in between for them on that, but I'm going to be going with the second quarter on this one. Now we're moving on to the halftime aspect of the prop sheet. Now, there are 6 questions relating to the halftime show, and out of 25, that's almost 25%. So if you're using this, you better be hitting on the halftime, because it could be the difference between coming in first or coming in second. It has been for me in the past, and it sucks. Anyway, starting off, what will be the primary color of Rihanna's first outfit? They give you black, white, gray/silver, yellow/gold, or other. I'm going other because I've seen a few sneak peeks, especially from like Apple Music, and she was wearing like a black dress, but the primary thing that she was wearing was like this big green fur coat, kind of looked like a Grinch coat. So I'm going to be going with other, saying it's green. Number 16, will Rihanna be wearing sunglasses when first seen? I'm going to be going yes, because for me, sunglasses gang, where are you at? I'm just going to go yes to that question. Once again, that is a complete 50-50. Rihanna's not someone I listen to all the time, but anyways. Moving on, question 17, will Jay-Z perform with Rihanna during the halftime show? And then question 18, they ask about, will Drake perform with it? I'm going to say no to both. I'm going to say, something like Rihanna, she's going to want to strictly have this as an individual performance. It's not like she's going to pull out someone else to be like an extra for the halftime show. Questions 19 is, what will the first song of the halftime show be? They give you the options: Diamonds, Don't Stop the Music, This Is What I Came For, Where Have You Been, or Other. Now, once again, I don't listen to Rihanna enough, so I'm going to be going with Other, but it wouldn't shock me if she starts off with Don't Stop the Music, because you don't want to stop the music when you start your halftime show. And then the final question of halftime is, what will the last song of halftime be? Umbrella, Don't Stop the Music, We Found Love, Stay, or Other. I do think Don't Stop the Music would be incredibly ironic to play at the end, because that's how you're ending it, by stopping the music. But I'm going to go We Found Love, because that's my personal favorite Rihanna song. All right, now we're going to move on to the hardcore fan side. Now this one, it's a lot more of like the statistics game, so that's why I also really enjoy it. And also the final questions on the casual sheet, they really just come down to winner. So we're going to combine these two at the end once we run through the hardcore fan. Now, like I said before, many questions repeat itself on the hardcore and the casual sheet. We move on to the first question on the hardcore sheet, which is, what will the first play of the game be? Pass/sack or a run? Now, honestly, this really depends on the team that you pick to win the coin, like to get the first ball. Like if you're going with Kansas City, I would recommend going with like a pass/sack. If you're going Philadelphia, I'd say that you take them with the run, because they can do it with anyone, whether that's Jalen Hurts, Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders. So since I have Philadelphia getting the ball first, I'm going to go with a run. Will there be a score on the first drive of the game? I did say yes to that. And I already said Philadelphia with a touchdown. And then they actually asked the question, who will score the first touchdown of the game? And this is a fill in the blank. There's no options. You fill in who it's going to be. And since I have the Philadelphia Eagles scoring first, I think it's going to be a rushing touchdown by Miles Sanders. I think that's a pretty popular pick. I think many people are going to say if it's Philadelphia, they're going to go either like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, or Jalen Hurts, or Miles Sanders. I'm going Miles Sanders on this one. I'm going to say they're going to try to establish the ground game as quickly as possible. Moving on, they have what will the first turnover of the game be? Interception, fumble, or none? Now, obviously, I think both these teams are going to turn the ball over at some point in the game, but I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes has the first turnover, as he'll throw an interception into the hands of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Why Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Because I miss having him as a Saint. Now we're moving on to will either team score 3 consecutive times? Now, I do think this is going to be a high-scoring Super Bowl, but I don't think that it's going to be high-scoring enough where a team's going to score on 3 consecutive drives. It's entirely possible, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to go no on this one because it's extremely bold. Then we have, will there be a defensive or special teams touchdown? Once again, this is a very, very bold call. I can't even remember the last Super Bowl that had a special teams or defensive score. I think it was Super Bowl 51 with the pick 6 off Tom Brady, so it's not very often. So I'm going to be going no on this one. Now moving into, will there be a missed extra point or field goal in this game. Now, we got to look at the two kickers going into this. Philadelphia, they have Jake Elliott. He was pretty solid on field goals for the season, was 20 for 23 and made 51 of 53 extra points. So he has 87% on field goal percentage and 96.2% on extra point percentage. And then we move on to Harrison Butker. Didn't have as good of a season as he's had in the past, as he was 18 for 24 for 75% on field goals, but he was 38 for 41 on extra points, so he had a 92.7%. Now, honestly, like Jake Elliott in his only Super Bowl, he missed a couple of kicks, and I think Harrison Butker has missed a couple in his past Super Bowl, whether it was against the Chiefs, against the 49ers, the Bucks. I think he missed one against the Bucks, so I'm going to say there is going to be a missed extra point or field goal in this game. Now we get into one of my favorite parts on the hardcore fan sheet, which is the player props. Now I know we already had one, which who's going to score the first touchdown, but these are more like who's going to have more. So starting off, who's going to have more passing yards, Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, plus 45.5. Now I really like that they added that 45.5 because when you look at the two quarterbacks, obviously Patrick Mahomes is much better at passing, as he threw for 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns, 12 picks. And Jalen Hurts on the season, he only threw for 3,701 yards, 22 touchdowns and 6 picks. But he did make up for it with 760 ground yards and 13 touchdowns. And I remember for Super Bowl 54, they had it between Mahomes and Jimmy Garoppolo. But for Jimmy Garoppolo, it was plus 100.5 yards. So I think Mahomes is still going to throw more because 45.5, that is definitely beatable for Patrick Mahomes. I still think he can beat that. Moving on, who will have more yards from scrimmage, Miles Sanders or Isaiah Pacheco? Now looking at Miles Sanders, he absolutely broke out this season as he had 1,269 yards for 11 touchdowns. But he didn't really break out that much in the receiving game as he only had 78 receiving yards. And then looking at Isaiah Pacheco, he ran for 830 yards and 5 touchdowns. Pretty solid for his rookie season considering he's splitting the backfield with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon, but he could only muster up 130 receiving yards. So once again, it's really going to come down to who does more on the ground, and it's going to be Miles Sanders on this one because Jerick McKinnon is the guy who's going to get more receptions out of the backfield than Isaiah Pacheco. Moving on, we have who will have more receiving yards, Travis Kelce or A.J. Brown. Now the thing is, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce have had an extremely tight connection their entire careers. Now obviously, before the 2022 season, Patrick Mahomes' two main targets were Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Either or was going to have a breakout performance. But after trading away Tyreek Hill, like he has other options like Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and McCole Hardman. But none of them, like the connection that he has with Travis Kelce is way too good. And then when we look at Jalen Hurts, like he and A.J. Brown gelled extremely well in their first season together for 1,496 yards and 11 touchdowns. However, I am going to go Travis Kelce on this one because once again, Patrick Mahomes and Kelce, they're way too good together. And I feel like the Eagles are going to try to balance it out more with a rush and a pass attack, while the Chiefs are going to be heavy on the passing game. Moving on, who will have more receiving yards, Juju Smith-Schuster or Dallas Goedert? Dallas Goedert had a pretty solid season as he had 702 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Juju Smith-Schuster, he did have a pretty solid first season with Kansas City for 933 yards and 3 touchdowns. He is coming off an injury. And once again, I do see Patrick Mahomes being a little bit more reliant on Travis Kelce. So I'm going to say Dallas Goedert overtakes it a little bit. The one thing that pisses me off most in this prop sheet is that there's no love for Devontae Smith. Because A.J. Brown had a terrific season, but Devontae Smith was not far behind, and it's getting so forgotten. So I really wished they did like Juju Smith-Schuster plus MBS versus Devontae Smith. I think that would have been a whole lot better. And Juju, honestly, he's kind of a boomer bust type of player in terms of receiving yards in a game. Moving on, we now have who will have more receptions, Jerick McKinnon or Quez Watkins. Honestly, like I said, it's going to be a more balanced attack by the Philadelphia Eagles with the run game as well as the pass game. But I think Hurts is going to be relying more on Goddard, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. So I think Jerick McKinnon is going to have more receptions. Because once again, even though he is a running back, he is the Chiefs receiving back. He has gotten the most receptions as he is actually third on the team in receptions. And then moving on, we have who will have more sacks, Chris Jones or Hassan Reddick. I love this question. Both guys are insanely good Hassan Reddick as a linebacker had 16 total sacks in the season. And then Chris Jones had 15 and a half sacks in the season. The big difference is I'm going Chris Jones on this one because I've looked into the more advanced data. He has the highest, when it comes to his success with double team rate and success rate, he's right up top. He has been insane this entire NFL season. So Chris Jones, he's going to get more sacks than Hassan Reddick. Now we're moving on to the final segment of the video, which is all the questions surrounding the end of the game. So this is where I'm going to be mixing the questions between the casual and the hardcore fan side mixed. So first off, we have, will the team that scores last win the game? I'm going to be going yes with that because who do I have winning Super Bowl 57? That I am going to give to the Kansas City Chiefs. Even though the Philadelphia Eagles are currently favored to win this one by 1.5, I feel like this is going to be time for the Chiefs to win their second Super Bowl. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, Patrick Mahomes is going to put himself in the GOAT conversation with this. And he does have a valid case, but I'm still not going to say he's the GOAT because obviously it's Drew Brees. Anyways, moving on. Then we have one of the questions that was on the hardcore fan side. Will the team cover the spread, which is 1.5? So I'd be very shocked. So I put yes because I'd be very shocked because that is a very low spread. Moving on, we have total points scored over under 50.5. I actually have over on that one. I think it's going to be an extremely high-scoring Super Bowl. Ends 37-34 with the final combined total points is 71. Then we have one of my favorite questions. Which color Gatorade will be dumped on the winning coach? Now, we have many options. We have clear/water, red/pink, blue, yellow/lime/green, orange, or other. And there's also the possibility of none, but someone's going to be getting the Gatorade bath nonetheless. Now, honestly, it really depends on who you pick for this one because anyone who picks Philadelphia is going to say yellow/lime/green. And people who are going to be picking the the Chiefs are probably going to be leaning towards orange, but orange, it's like the most common color I've seen dumped on the winning coach, so I'm going to be going orange on this one. And then we have who will win Super Bowl MVP. Now, on the casual side, it's Mahomes, Hurts, or other, and on the hardcore side, it's just a fill in the blank. Now, obviously, I get why the casual side did Mahomes, Hurts, or other, because if they did QB or other, that's not even fair. I mean, even though Cooper Kupp won Super Bowl MVP last year as a wide receiver, most of the time it goes to a quarterback. So usually whoever the winning team is, it's going to go to their quarterback. But since I have the Chiefs winning, I'm going to be giving this one right to Patrick Mahomes. But there is a realistic shot if the Chiefs win, it could go to Travis Kelce, maybe even Chris Jones if he has a super strong defensive game. And then the final question, who will the Super Bowl MVP thank first? God, teammates, family, coaches, other, or none? This cost me in my first ever Super Bowl prop bet video, as I had Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowl MVP, and he would thank God first. He did not thank God. He ended up thanking his teammates, and the guy I was going up against had teammates. I had God. We were tied, and he beats me on tiebreaker. It hurts so much, so I'm going teammates with this one. I'm not going to make that same mistake again. On to the outro. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you all so much for watching my Super Bowl prop bet video, and thank you all for the support for the 2022 NFL season. It has been an amazing ride. I love making this series, but for now, I'm going to take a break, try to focus more on school. I will be back in May when I do my monthly Blue Jays recaps. I'm going to try to be doing that monthly once again, but once again, thank you for the ride for the 2022 NFL season. Am I still disappointed with the Saints? Of course I am, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, if you like this video, drop a like, subscribe my channel by clicking here, or the subscribe button down below. If you want to watch my last video, click right over here. Comment down below what your thoughts are on the Super Bowl. Who do you have winning? Super Bowl MVP, any other prop bets that you're going to make? Are you going to stuff your face at your Super Bowl party? Or are you just one of those people who's in it for the game or just in it for the halftime show? Follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Brendan Suter. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. I love you all. It's been a good one.